2020, all education nearly all over the world is shifted to online learning. All teachers, guys, do not have enough preparation, and they have no adequate online skill trainings, and that's why that is called emergency remote teaching. Yeah, so you can imagine what emergency is. Just like when you are in the middle of the traffic, you are on your way to a very important meeting. For example, you have to attend a ceremony attended by VIP people. You will be promoted. You are one of the winners, and you have to be on time. But then you are in the middle of the traffic. For that reason, you cannot get to the place on time, and it's called emergency situation. You must find a way to to get out of this problem, right? And the ways you are taking are called emergency solutions, because you never expect these situations from happening. Okay. Now this is called remote teaching, because just like we are doing now, we do not see each other. Yeah, but then we are still having a conference like this. We can interact, but we do it beyond the classroom, and that is called remote. Yeah. All right, so this is the situation that shows clear evidence how technology really helps us, right, in education. But then still the question is how much technology is really helpful to promote learning? That's a big question. Talking about the relationship between technology and education, well, this is sort of the very intimate relationship, just like what you are looking at in your screen. So this is what happened in the old times, and education has been through times, and a lot of changes happened. Just take a look at what happened in 1900 to 1920. So the first innovation in technology is the so-called desk. So, you look at the desk there, guys. So the desk is one of the technological innovation, actually. Okay, so technology is anything that helps us, human beings, to make our jobs easy. And we, human beings, prefer to have everything done easily. Okay, that's our nature, human beings. Okay, now what happened in 1923? Their teachers began to integrate radio into class. Yeah, take a look at these pictures there. Students listens to the radio. And in 1930, it was invented projector overhead. I still experience this guy when my teachers use this kind of device explaining the lectures in the classroom. Okay, now let's move on. In 1960, whiteboard whiteboard was invented because we used to have the blackboard. In 1984, computer Macintosh computer, was invented. Here we had a computer, and I used to play with a computer, and the screen was green at that time, and there were not a lot of games to play with such a computer, but I find myself enjoy playing with this kind of computer, although the screen was green. Okay, in 2002, internet access was invented because of these devices, guys, and I think you're familiar with 2012 iPad, and in 2013, where including you, everybody uses mobile handphones. Yeah, how much technology is really helpful for learning? Let me show you one of the research study by Singh and friends in 2012. According to the study, according to Singh and friends, they found that there was a significant difference in terms of learning satisfaction experienced by students in the online class in comparison to students learning in the traditional format. Traditional format, I mean, is the study in the classroom. So from this study, we can learn that students learning online seems to be more satisfied than those their counterpart, than those their friends studying in face-to-face meeting. Yeah. However, according to Singh, although most students in the online class feel satisfied and there tend to increase interaction between student and students, student teachers, because of numbers of chat they had in the discussion, but uh, academics still doubt of these results, whether technology is really helpful improving learning, because chat are something that we have to be fully aware of the quality of learning. Chat should be, well, it's okay, it's part of the expression, but then the question would be some things like, do they really express their ideas in a good ways, well, using correct grammars or proper vocabulary, some things like that. But then in terms of the interaction, it's completely increasing. Now, take a look at the other study by Lee and friends in 2019. They had a study in China, and it's quite interesting when they found that there was no significant difference in terms of their achievement between those learning online with those learning in the classroom. Yeah. So there is no significant difference. It means that technology does not really help with learning, that helping educators or teachers to promote learning. Well, so there are two contradictory studies from this. First from Singh and the second from Lee. Then the question is technology really helpful then? Well, this is my study, actually, students, because I'm curious about the impacts of technology in learning. I made a survey in 2021. I had friends from different countries, for example, like Sri Lanka, Russia, Syria, Libya, Thailand, Serbia, and Senegal. Well, I have friends from those countries, but not a lot. They are English teachers, and I want to know about how how much they know about technology, how much they have integrated technology into their study, into their class. I got 121 respondents. All right, so they are English teachers. 75% of them were female teachers, and the rest, 25%, were male teachers. I use the online survey. I distribute this survey using WhatsApp. Well, you know the result, and the result is not really satisfying. Yeah, I got the interval score from 0 to 10, and my finding is that the average knowledge, technological knowledge of the teachers I studied was just about 4.5. That's in the middle. Yeah, so 4.5 was not good number reflecting teachers' technological knowledge. And my study, I use this kind of theory. I believe that you are all familiar that um, I test the teachers' knowledge whether they know how to design good media. As you know, that good media should consider how students process the information in their minds, right? We learn knowledge, we improve our knowledge because we got the input from outside. And the inputs are visual and auditory. I believe you know that. Actually, the sensory inputs are not always visual and auditory because you can also get some other input sensation and you can detect those inputs from your sense, like taste, you touch, some things like that. But in education, mostly we have visual and auditory. Okay. Well, we also have working memory, and we can use this to select. We remember inputs, visual and auditory, and we do selection because we cannot grasp all information we receive, right? Just like what I'm telling you now from the beginning, I do believe that everybody may have different stories. And that's the evidence that we have a very limited working memory capacity. Okay. And selection happens, and only selected information are grabbed by us because of several conditions. For example, if we are familiar with the information we receive, then we can integrate this information with our prior knowledge, okay? And I'm very satisfied, I'm very happy once I notice in your teaching practices, you always activate your students' prior knowledge. So you activate their schema, and that makes students easier to understand new inputs. Okay, once they practice and keep practicing over and over again, that becomes safe in long-term memory. So every task would be done automatically. Just imagine when you're driving a car, you no longer try to remember uh, what wheel is, all right? Handbrakes, no, everything does happen automatically. Okay? Because you keep all skills in your long-term memory. And those kinds of things become the ground of my survey. Guys, and teachers cannot recognize what's wrong with this slide presentation, okay? And they cannot judge, evaluate this media well, all right? What's wrong with the presentation slide? Okay, everybody in here can give me some suggestion or ideas. What's wrong with this slide, guys? Maybe Angela. What's wrong with this slide, Angela? Because many teachers still use this technique.
I think that it has too much going on in it, so we're not really sure what to focus on. And also, the background here is very distracting.
Yeah, that's right. The background is very distracting. Yeah, that's the very point Angela has made, guys. So just like background musics, those are elements unnecessary to include in the presentation, but many teachers still uh, use this. Yeah. In fact, the existence of background musics and the animations like this would not be helpful. That will, um, you know, that will drain students' cognitive capacity. Okay. In here, teachers are still not aware about the effective presentation, and they think that B picture is better than A picture. But theoretically, B has many weaknesses. One of the weaknesses is that there is a text here, while the text is actually the same as teacher explained. So redundant, okay? So that is called redundant principle, because when teacher explained this, the text is also appear here. And the student will listen to the teacher's explanation and they will read the text. So they have to divide their attention to two different sources, teacher and the text. That is against redundant principle. And many teachers are also not aware of this. And we have discussed this, right? And they think that this one, B, is better than A. In fact, B will not really helpful, will not help students learn better because they have to, I mean, yeah, B, yeah, because they have to go up and down, try to match what A is and how A matches A below, okay? And A is a lot better because the text is put just near the part where the teacher is explaining. It's called contiguity principle, okay? All right. I think I have explained to everybody about this concept, TPACK. So TPACK stands for technological, pedagogical content knowledge. All right. So the inventor of this theory, they are lecturers from Michigan University. They are very famous actually. Yeah, they're very famous actually. And they mentioned that the 21st century teachers should embrace this. They are demanded not only to have pedagogical knowledge only, but they have to embrace content knowledge, yeah, and technological knowledge. Okay. Now let me explain to you guys what pedagogical knowledge is. Pedagogical knowledge is something about how we teach. Yeah. So when we are able to design our teaching objective, prepare teaching materials, we are able to assess students and manage the students in the classroom, they pay attention to us. That is called pedagogical knowledge. Knowledge about how to teach. All right. And the second one is called content knowledge. Content knowledge is about something you are studying. For example, when you are good at the English grammar, it is called content knowledge. If you are good at math, you are good at biology, you are good at other sciences, those are content, right? So content knowledge about something uh, information or knowledge teachers must have when dealing with the subjects they are teaching. That is called content knowledge. And the other one is called technological knowledge. The technological knowledge is about how we are able to collect a lot of information about technology for teaching, and we are able to evaluate, assess, and apply this technology for teaching. Okay. Well, how can we do this? How can we embrace this? Well, in reality, students, this knowledge is not always easy to embrace. Everybody are not always embrace this equally. Sometimes teachers have they are good at pedagogical knowledge and content knowledge, okay, but they are weak at technological knowledge. Okay? Or in some other occasion, teachers might be good at technological knowledge and pedagogical knowledge, but they are weak in content knowledge. For example, many teachers are good at teaching, okay? So they are good at pedagogical knowledge. And they are good at content knowledge. They got doctor degrees, they got master's degree, and those are evidences show how clever they are, right? But they are weak at technological knowledge, and that happens with teachers who are senior. Yeah, I'm not saying that they are old, although they are, okay, but that happens during the pandemic when everybody has to teach online. The seniors teachers have difficulty teaching online. Yeah, because they are only good at pedagogical knowledge and content knowledge, but they are weak at technological knowledge. In some other situation, we can also observe teachers are good at content knowledge. They are very clever. They got master's degree and doctor's degree, and they are good at technological knowledge. They know lots of apps, right? They know a lot of application, up-to-date application, but they are weak at pedagogical knowledge. So they didn't know everything, but they cannot how to deliver the class well because they are weak at pedagogical knowledge. So in conclusion, student, teachers in 21st century are those who have integrated these three kinds of knowledge: technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge. And this should happen with you. You must embrace these three kinds of knowledge. As teachers, we must embrace three kinds of knowledge. We must have commitment. We must devote ourselves to study, to be brave, to learn new things, to experiment new knowledge, new apps, and try to integrate those apps technology into our class. Yeah. Be aware of and bear in your mind that when you design the media, make sure that you adhere to cognitive load principles, multimedia learning. Yeah. All right, student. I think that's what I can tell you and share with you. I hope you find my presentation useful.